So today I've got another dream story for you guys. Last night I dreamt that I was walking my dogs, and I was walking them through town, except not any part of town that I'd been to before. In fact, it didn't look like my town at all. It was some kind of fictional dream town, and I was walking with them for quite a while, and then I decided to go home. So I start walking home with my dogs, and at some point I realized I'm not recognizing any of these houses. These aren't where I was, a few minutes ago. And I started to think, hey, I'm a little bit lost. I don't know how I'm going to get home. But this realization that I was lost also made me think, wait, why don't I recognize any of these houses? And so at that point, that's when I became lucid. I realized that, hey, this isn't actually my town. I'm not actually here with my dogs. I'm actually dreaming. At that point, I had a couple of choices. I could go off and do my own thing, but I sometimes just like to follow along with the plot of the existing dream, because I find that often my subconscious is way more creative and comes up with way more interesting things than I do. So I decided to just go along with it and keep looking for my home. Except I thought, hey, I'm going to use some dream control and kind of cheat a bit. I'm going to take my dogs home, but I'm not going to actually go home. I'm just going to say that one of these houses is my home and sort of believe it, kind of Jedi mind trick like, and make it so, and then go in there and take my dogs home. So I did that. I imagined that when I go down a couple of streets, I'm going to see a door and I'm just going to know that it's my house, and when I go inside, it'll be my house. So I did this. I turned a couple of streets and there was a door that I looked at, and I just told myself, this is the one. I went in there, opened the door, and sure enough, I'm at my house. I go in, I take my dogs inside, I take them off their leads and so on, and then I see my cat. My cat comes up to me and greets me, and so I was playing with my cat for a little bit, and then I realized, hey, I can play with my cat and my dogs in the real world. Why don't I do something fun and go off and explore? So I leave the house and I shut the door. And just as I was about to go off and explore, I had this moment of realization. I was thinking about how the dogs and the cat that I left inside the house aren't my real dogs and my cat. Even though they looked like them, they acted like them, they're just imaginary versions of them inside my head. And I thought about the fact that when I wake up, I'm going to see my real dogs and my real cat, but potentially the ones from my dreams, since dreams don't really have a kind of persistent world, each dream is different, everything is fresh and new, potentially the imaginary versions of my dogs and my cat that I just met are ones that I've met only that one time and will never see again. And I thought about that, and in a weird way, that kind of made me sad. It was like, I meet all of these characters in my dreams that only exist for a brief moment, and yes, I might meet the same sort of character again, the same representation, but each dream is its own thing, and so every time you run into someone, it's just a brief occurrence and you don't see them again. It's almost like a metaphor for life, because life is like that, we don't get to live forever, people only live so long, and so you meet them for a brief moment and then they're gone. And I got so caught up in this deep thought that I ended up waking up, and I just sat there in bed for like the next 5 or 10 minutes thinking about this idea. And it got me wondering, the dream characters that we have in our dreams, what do you think about them? Do you think that they're like persistent characters? Like, let's say that you run into one of your friends in a dream. Obviously it's not your real friend, it's a representation of them that your subconscious has created. But let's say that you dream about them tonight, and then you have a dream 5 nights from now that also features them. Is it the same imagined person, or are these two different ones? Is each one in each dream a new one? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And before we go, I know most of you have probably heard of it already by now, but I recently released the Lucid Dream book, my complete guide to lucid dreaming. There's going to be a bunch of information on screen about what's inside the book, and I really recommend checking it out because everything is in there. I tried to make it the kind of guide that you could take somewhere with no internet, and you could potentially, never have internet again for the rest of your life, and you could just get everything that you need to know from that book. And also you can use it to develop your own techniques and stuff. I tried to make it as complete as possible. You can check that out over at gum.co/theluciddreambook. That's gum.co/theluciddreambook. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure you subscribe and enable notifications. And if you want to keep watching, check out one of those videos on screen. Go watch that, and I'll see you there soon. Take care.